Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to this little live. A little bit later than we normally do. Decided I was going to do it at 6 o'clock rather than 4 o'clock, purely because I think more people will be kicking around at that time. So today I'm going to talk about fitness tracking and the importance of fitness tracking. I'm also going to give you a little bit of an insight, really, into my very basic but quite effective fitness journal, my food journal that I keep every night, and also talk about a framework that I use to work out just how intense or how hard I should train in each day. Okay, and it's a 4-part framework which I call the mesh test. I do it every day. I talked about it in a podcast that I released yesterday, actually. So if you listen to that, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So if you're coming on, say hello, say hi, post comments. If you're in a Facebook group, you might have to your name. You might have to type your name because it doesn't always show names. But say hello. If you've got questions about your fitness and food, then post them in the comments, and I'll pick them up and I'll answer them as we go along. Also, if you track fitness or food or sleep or activity or anything like that, then let me know and tell me what you track and tell me what benefit you get from tracking that. Do you just aim for 10,000 steps every day? Do you aim for certain heart rate levels? Are you aiming for a certain amount of calories in a day? Just let me know kind of what you're tracking. I'd be quite interested to hear that. So we're going to let a few people come on, and then we'll crack on. Now, are you just aim for 10? Hi Claire, how you doing? Claire says hi. Good, Claire. It's showing names tonight, so that's good. Claire, do you track any kind of fitness or food? Do you use a little fitness tracker and steps or anything like that? Let me know. So I'm just waiting for questions and comments coming. Hey Kathy, how you doing? Kathy says hello. How you doing, Kathy? Hope you're good. Good to see you on. So at the minute I'm in Paula's office. This is Paula's office at home, and Paula being Paula, she's actually just out there in the sun in the garden there. But she's got these bloody roses, and I'm making my nose tingle. They smell that strong. Nice, but they're just really strong smelling. Okay, so I don't think there's any. Yeah, here we go. So Claire's saying, yeah, I normally track kilometers and food, but at the moment, to be honest, not tracking anything has slipped a bit. Okay, well, everybody, there's a slip before every rise. I don't know if they say that or I've just made that up, but every now and again you have a bit of a slip and then you get back on it. So it is what it is. But good to see that you track your distance and your food. Okay, so let me just talk about it. I think that it is incredibly difficult to improve something if you're not sort of monitoring it and measuring it, and if you're not tracking it. Okay, so I think everybody needs to have some kind of food or fitness tracking or activity tracking in their regime in order to be able to improve that and to build on that and to see where you're going right and where you're going wrong and all this kind of stuff. But what I do know is, as with many, many other things, it's not a one size fits all. Like I've tried things like MyFitnessPal in the past, where I'm tracking micro and macro calories and that kind of stuff, and it just seemed a lot of faff. Mess around on my phone. I really work hard to stay off my phone anyway. All my notifications are turned off, and it was just an excuse to get on there, and I don't like it. Kathy is saying she uses a Fitbit for distance, running, and sleep. Brilliant. Good to see you're tracking sleep. Sleep is one of the things. I have a tracker on my watch. It's a Garmin watch, and it tracks my heart rate, the amount that I sleep, and obviously my runs and my training sessions as well. So that's really good. But what I also use is I basically have like a small diary, and every day when I go to bed, I just make a few notes and I keep it like a journal. And the way that I kind of map it out is I basically put the date at the top, and then I put food, leave a few lines, and then I put fitness, leave a few lines. I then put recovery, because it's something that we rarely, we rarely do or really make an effort to do. We, not often do we sort of factor in a stretch session or a meditation session or a yoga session or a gentle stroll, a walk with the dogs or whatever. Okay, so I have a recovery session. And then underneath I have a general summary. So this is how I kind of do it. And I also have a thing that I call the mesh test in the top right hand corner of the page, and I'll talk about that at the end. So basically I look at the food, and that's just a case of writing down everything that I eat that day. Okay, so and I try and do as accurate as possible. I don't really bother too much about the quantities, because, like I said, that counting the calories and the macros and micros and getting really granular on what food is, the amount of calories and that we're consuming, is not really my bag. So I don't tend to do it too much, but I do like to track what I'm doing. And then what I do is I'll score that. I'll look at the food and think, right, I know what a 10, an amazing day is, and I know what a 1, a really terrible day is, and I'll try and score it between 1 and 10. Okay, so you'll end up with the score. Let's say today it's a 7 because I've been all right. Okay, eating a couple of things which I wouldn't normally eat. Then moving on to the fitness, same again. I'll track everything that I do. I'll try and be as accurate as I can this time with distances, speeds, heart rate levels, the weight that I lift, the session that I do, the number of reps and all that kind of stuff. And I get quite granular on the fitness side of stuff. And then I'll rate that 1 to 10. Okay. And then I'll come on to the recovery. And with the recovery, I will list any activity that I've done which can relate to recovery. And this is why I have the 3 aspects, because you need the 3 aspects. You need rest, you need the fitness, and you need the food in order to get good results. And sometimes you can have a terrible day fitness-wise, you haven't done anything. But then in the recovery, if you think that's exactly what you needed, then you give yourself a 10 in there. It can kind of balance itself out a little bit. So in there, I'll put, like, if I have a walk with the dog, if I have a stretch session, if I do some self-massage, if I ice an aching muscle, if I do some meditation, anything like that, I will put in my little recovery thing. Or if I use my massage gun, anything like that that can be classed as recovery or rest, then I'll do that. What's Claire's saying, I've got a Galaxy Watch, so I think it will get back to using that for sleep, as sleep isn't great. Yeah, sleep is the #1 legal steroid, like performance enhancing drug in the world. Just bloody, just improving your sleep has so many benefits. So what's this saying here? So I've been put on a low FODMAP diet due to intolerance and other issues. So we'll have to get on it and recording food and differences in health mood. Right, I've come across FODMAP a few times. I'm just going to remind myself exactly what it means. FODMAP stands for, and this is why I couldn't remember it, FODMAP is fermentable oligodimonosaccharides and polyols. Right, FODMAP, for those of you watching that don't know, basically it's a lot of sugars, even like natural sugars and that kind of stuff. Anything that'll kind of ferment in the gut, cause you bloating, gas, stomach pain, and stuff like that. So yeah, I get that. I've come across that before, Claire, and yeah, it is something you need to be kind of tracking. So it'd be good to get back on the old tracking for that. Next thing I do, once I've done the food, the fitness, and the recovery, and I've scored all them out of 10, I'll total that up, and obviously my max is 30, and I want to get that score as high as I can, but truthfully throughout the day. Okay, so I'll know when I'm having a bad day, a good day. And then the final thing that I do is down the bottom in the summary bit, I just write how the day has been, whether it's food or fitness or like anything that I'm grateful for, or good events, whether I've been on it and I've been productive that day, whether I've not been productive, what's distracted me. And I just keep a little bit of a diary, and I don't often reflect over it. But by writing it down, I think you get it out of your head, and by writing it down, it can often make things a little bit clearer. So that's kind of what I do. What's Kev saying here? Kev, how you doing? Kev saying I was on a long water fast, now on a ketogenic diet. Good for me. Good. good for you, Kev. It's good for me because I'm on a ketogenic diet of types in the minute as well. So very, very good for health. How did you find the transition from the fast to the like the ketogenic diet plan, Kev? Tell me how you got on with that. So the other part that I have these 4 letters across the top, MESH, okay? And each letter stands for a different aspect of me, right? So the first, the M, that stands for mood. So what I do is I score my mood between 1 and 10, whether I'm in a good mood, whether I'm in a low mood or whatever, and I'll score it in a 1 to 10. The next thing I'll do is the E is energy. Like, what is your general energy levels? Do you feel like you should be training hard, or do you feel like you need to rest? After that, I will look at S, which is stress. And that can either be sort of residual stress or environmental stress or work stress or anything like that. But I kind of measure the stress because quite often if, fitness is a stress on the body, and if we're already stressed because of our environment and stuff, then training that day at an intense level might not actually be the best thing for you. It might be a day where you look to work in while I'm working out. And I spoke about this yesterday where, working in is things that you do to promote your health that's quite low in intensity, low in impact, and improve your mental health as well as your physical health. Okay. And then the final one, the H is health. What is your general health? And quite often I'll score this score can go all over the place. If I've got a bit of a tendonitis in my ankles, then my score will be a little bit lower. At the minute I've got a little bit of tendonitis in this elbow. So some activities, like if I want to do a lot of bag work, like punching, I'd struggle with that. Okay, so I just kind of mark it down a little bit. And then what I do is I work out an average of those 4 factors. Okay, so total it all up, divide it by 4, and it gives you an average. And then what I do is that will tend to dictate how hard I push in a training session. So if I was did my average and it was it was a 3, well, that day I'd probably be doing lots of sitting, relaxing, gentle strolls. I wouldn't do anything mega intense. If I was getting 8s, 9s, 10s, then I would be looking to absolutely kill it that day, So now you don't get that kind of feedback unless you actually start to look for that feedback and whether you're actually tracking stuff that's going on. Again, which is, an important reason why you should be tracking. So I've got a little bit of a challenge for you. The challenge is I want you to pick something to start tracking and then track it for the next couple of days, and then come back on one of these office hours and then just tell me how you're getting on, if that's kind of improved what you're looking to change or not. If you found it quite easy, if it's pushed you on or it's not, it's stopped you progressing, it's had a negative effect. Okay, so that's it really. So has anybody got any questions on that? Like I say, we're doing this a little bit later tonight because I thought we might have got more people on, but it's not really made that much of a difference. If there's a time that kind of suits you, then let me know. Other than that, we'll try a few different times, see how we go with stuff. So yeah, if I don't get any comments and questions then in the next couple of minutes, then I will close it down and move on. I'll go and get some dinner, a ketogenic dinner. Okay, great. So thanks for joining us, guys, everyone, tonight, and I'll see you again around the same time tomorrow. Take care.